amongst the 748 delegates who attended against all odds the extraordinary National Delegates Conference held on Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. You, the 748 delegates,
were outside,
demonstrated the resilience and commitment. The party chairman is correcting me. There are those who were unable to join the delegates conference because they were blocked by police. The 748 are the ones who sat here. The FDC National Delegates Conference is about 1,300, and the reason I'm saying 1,300 is there are people who have died. There are those who have changed affiliations. So the number is always around there. So the 748 are the ones who are inside here. The number outside can only be estimated about 200. So you, the delegates, demonstrated the resilience and commitment to the mission of rescuing your party. You successfully jumped every hurdle that was thrown in your way. You raised the money when those you entrusted with your party withheld funds. You changed the roads and the locations when you are being hounded by police and hired criminal gangs. Even when both police and the criminal gangs followed you at Katonga, you remained resolute and fulfilled the mission for which you were elected. To the FDC Busia district leadership, who are also delegates and were badly battered by the hired criminals in full view of police at Busabala, our hearts go to you. You told your story. The country needs to know that our leaders from Busia, Mr. Kasim Masia, John Kasera, Mande Felix, Hassan Opio, and Christopher Wejuri Goa were battered at Busabala when police commanded by Katwe Division Police Commander SP David Kamujira was looking on and in fact cheering. These leaders were later treated at Victoria Hospital in Bukoto and returned to Busia, where they are still receiving treatment. As FDC, we ask police, since they know and work with these criminals, to return the belongings of those that were battered, including their phones, money, and national identification cards. Since police work with these criminals and they know each other very well, we kindly ask police to recover from their allies stolen items so that they can be returned to the rightful owners. Protecting life and property is the reason the country spends every year 1 trillion shilling on police. This police that was looking on as citizens were being battered. The conduct of deployed police officers on that day suggests that these criminals, commonly known as chiefs, are well known to police. They freely interacted with police before taking positions from which they mugged our people. We have since established that these chiefs, allies of police, were collected from Mundeva, Katwe, Morago, Chisenyi, and other places, and their mission for which they were paid. A commander of every squad was paid 100,000 a commander. Then the squad members were each paid 50,000. You can find these fellows. 3 of them that were arrested by citizens are still at Katwe police station. You, the media, can ask Kamujira to allow you to speak to them because they have recorded statements there explaining who hired them and the amount of money they were being paid. Their mission was to attack and harm the FDC delegates, where possible kill. That is the assignment they had been given. And police knew all this. That's why when the party chairman wrote to police, in their reply by Nwajira, commander of operations, he said, we will not give you protection, we suspect there is violence. So police knew that actually there would be violence from these gang criminals with whom they work. The gang was commanded, we have some of the names, by among others, Minawa Farouk, Akankwasa Juma, Moses Matovu Sawa, Chiriowa Muhammadi, Dinja Zubair, Abdul Matu, Semwanga Jackson, Ali Muzei, Medi Musi, Kavuma, Baker, Sembusi Godfrey, and others. These are criminals. And the police knows these fellows because they work together. We have reliably been informed that actually these gangs work under the Directorate of Crime Intelligence, which is headed by AIGP Brigadier Christopher Damulira. This is where all these gangs are registered. See, this country, the way Museveni has mismanaged Uganda, that you can deploy people with tear gas, but you can also deploy criminals to steal from the citizens. So if you want tear gas, you deploy police. If you want phones stolen and money and ID and all other items, you now deploy each face. They are all under Brigadier Christopher Damulira. You can ask. You saw them at court, free walking and interacting with Nandala. That I think he was the commander. Then you saw them in Busabala, the same faces. And police cannot arrest because these are their allies. They know when to deploy them. If you have a function and the duty is to steal from you, they don't want uniformed policemen to do it. Then they will unleash on you criminals. More information can be obtained from 3 members who were arrested here at Katonga, members of these gangs. They were produced in court, the one who were arrested by citizens. One of them is Kaita Hamisi, Kutesa Alex, and Muima Moses. These ones are people arrested from here. They were produced in court on Friday. Yes. If anyone wants to obtain information on who hired them and who paid them, they are there, they are not dead. Thankfully, these 3 were charged. I think police was too embarrassed to hold on 2 of them. We hold you, police, and your allies at Najana Nkumbi responsible for these crimes. We would like to call upon FDC members who had come for the meeting and all Ugandans who lost property to register their details of what they lost and went through with the FDC Acting Secretary General, Mr. Harold Kaija. We intend to file private criminals against Nandala Mafavi, Patrick Amuriat, and all the police commanders with whom they were working that day. This gang of Nandala, Amuriat, Kamujira, there was one here called Atuijuke. We intend, after we have collected all information about those who lost property and were battered, we will be pursuing them in courts of law privately. We would also like to warn these criminals hired to batter our people that we will follow you up and legally make you pay for your crimes. You recall that upon realizing that the delegates were not in Busabala, they even came here on borders, and police was told. What police instead did was to begin chasing delegates in the direction of criminals so they can get beaten and have their property stolen. That's what police was doing here. The Honorable Maiko Kabazuguruka was there and Honorable Namanya. They are the ones who told the police that these faces are on their way. They are now around Serena. And when police realized that they are on their way around Serena, now we started chasing everybody towards Serena, so that they get beaten and their property stolen. And this is the police for which you Ugandans pay 1 trillion shilling every year to run. Juncture, I want to invite the acting party president to deal with the rest of the themes of this press conference. And as I said, this press conference will be
delivered on our behalf by the official party spokesperson, the Honorable Ibrahim Ssemujju Nganda. And I would wish to add as follows: the background is given to you, unleashed on our members, has been ably articulated by the spokesperson. Going forward, you recall we had that delegates conference here, and a couple of resolutions were made. The assurance we are giving to the members and the public at large, we have started our work in earnest. We are leaving no stone unturned. We are burning midnight candles. We are working around the clock to execute the mandate entrusted to us, because we have very limited time. You recall we were given 6 months within which to accomplish quite a lot. We are assigned the duty of bringing the party back on the rail, and we are vigorously pursuing that. We have said, and I want to reiterate the same, the party had been derailed by the gang that has been mentioned here. And our determination is not in any way about to waver in the pursuit of all the ideals enshrined in our party platforms, the Constitution, the Leap Forward, and all other instruments, and the strategic plan as well. A recap of the resolutions and so far what has been done. Number one, the mandate to constitute the interim leadership, and we are here. You recall, and I want to reiterate, the former party president was suspended, and a resolution was made that disciplinary proceedings should ensue. We are working on that to constitute the necessary team, and rather to put in place the necessary modalities of ensuring that resolution is implemented. Thou shalt not commit a wrong and go scot-free. Thou shalt not flagrantly and obdurately violate the party constitution with reckless abandon and go away without any sanction. That would be a negation of the vision that was espoused by the founders of this party and the members who have sacrificed for the development of the party. Painstakingly, who have developed this party. Painstakingly, those who have lost their lives in the name of developing this party. So it would be a betrayal to those heroes of the party if one was left to violate the party constitution with reckless abandon and no actions are taken to address the same. The resolution was made giving us the assignment to take charge of the party. I want to assure the nation, as the acting president of the party, I am in charge and in control. Those who are asking how do it, how that is going to work out, just keep your ear on the ground. Just keep following the developments as they unfold, because everything in that particular direction is still work in progress. But so far, so good. Personally, I'm really impressed by the goodwill given to our leadership. I thank you, members of the public. I thank you, members of the party, for having embraced the decision that was taken by the National Delegates Conference and wholeheartedly embraced the leadership that was put in place. Our assurance is that we are not going to betray you. We are not going to backtrack on the mission you assigned to us, and we are always guided by the vision that is espoused by the progenitors of this mighty party. And in that regard, I will be chairing the first National Executive Committee meeting on Thursday this week. So a notice is already issued out to the members today, calling them for NEC to sit on Thursday. And in that meeting, the agenda is already on the order paper, but for the purposes of information to members of the public, we are rolling out a new roadmap for party structures for elections.
One Uganda.
On that day, or shortly thereafter, the Chief Electoral Commissioner and his team, the Honorable Kabaziguruka, who is with us here, will be giving you a detailed program on how these structures are going, these elections are going to be conducted. We are mindful of the time constraints. We are mindful of the challenges that all of you are encountering, and we are and all of us, because we are in a transitional period, but we are putting everything in place to ensure that we have a smooth electoral process. We are assuring you that we are going to conduct a credible electoral process befitting the party, the party our forefathers established. We shall ensure that the party constitution is respected in that particular regard. We have also issued communications to the banks about management of the funds, the accounts of the party. Hitherto, we had the Secretary General, we had the Treasurer, who are signatories to the accounts, and since they are on suspension, and as long as they remain on suspension, their signatures on those accounts cannot be valid. And we are putting the banks on notice. If they honor any check signed by the Honorable Secretary General Nganda or the Ekanya, if they honor them as Secretary General, if they honor those because they are on suspension, the Honorable Nganda is on suspension, the Honorable Ekanya is on suspension. So if they attempt to honor their signatures, they will have themselves to blame. We shall take them on legally. The banks have already been notified, and we have substituted their signatures with those who were duly authorized by the delegates conference. That is the Honorable Mwijuche here, who will also have a word with you on some of these matters, and also Kaija, the acting Secretary General. In the same vein, the resolutions of National Council, or rather the National Delegates Conference, have been duly communicated to the Electoral Commission as required under the Political Parties and Organizations Act. And the party chairperson, the Ambassador Birigwa, will give you details of the same. Finally, we are authorized to drag the person passing off as the Chief Electoral Commissioner to courts of law for purporting to conduct a delegates conference outside the parameters of the FDC Constitution. I would like to pass on the good news to the members of the party and well-wishers at large that today morning, the 25th day of September, we have filed a civil suit in the High Court of Uganda against one Toterebuka Bamwenda Boniface for holding out as the Chief Electoral Commissioner of the party without being duly elected by or appointed by the National Delegates Conference as stipulated under Article 29 of the party constitution. That is charge number 1 in the suit. Charge number 2, for him to purport to usurp the powers of the office of the chairperson, the ambassador Birigwa here, to call a delegates conference slated for 6th of October. That is criminal. Criminal on the part of the chief, the part of Honorable Toterebuka Bamwenda, to purport to overthrow the party constitution. Look at the provisions of Article 28, Clause 1B of the party constitution, a copy of which I have here, this one. It's very clear. Who is authorized to call a delegates conference? Which office is empowered to convene and preside over the National Delegates Conference? It is the office of the chairperson. The elder here we have here. So he has not appended any signature on any instrument calling for that delegates conference. So what we have decided, in line with the resolution of the National Delegates Conference, to charge the Honorable Toterebuka Bamwenda on that account. He has not been sued with his accomplices. No. You'll get copies of the pleadings. He's been sued alone. It's up to him now to invite others to join him to face the wrath of the law. But for us, we have dragged him as an individual because we consider him an impositor in that office. It's the reason we said we must protect and jealously regard the sanctity of the party constitution. So the third charge against him is for rolling out a roadmap without the approval, the election roadmap without the approval of NEC. The roadmap he has been pursuing, it is his own document. Many of us, you see here, members of NEC. We have sat in NEC meetings time and again. And we last sat in June. We had passed a resolution that the roadmap be halted until we have resolved all these intricate matters at a NEC retreat, which retreat has not been convened up to now. So he decided to roll out a roadmap culminating into a delegates conference, which had hitherto been slated for 24th November. But you can see now the criminality they have perpetrated. Even that illegal roadmap has been also violated because he departed from the original roadmap, which had indicated that the delegates conference would sit in November, now bringing it forward to 6th October. You can't play around with a party like that. A party which has got a constitution, which has got its own structures, which has got full membership, which has got reasonable people. You just play around with it unilaterally. Musically, you sit as an individual. You keep on shifting a goalpost here and there, and we keep on following you. No, we can't do that. So we want him to be called to order, and we are seeking for injunctive orders because if he is not restrained, he's likely to plunge the party into anarchy. He's likely to plunge the party into total chaos, which may, if not addressed properly, lead to dismemberment of the party, disintegration of the party. We can't sit and watch such events, nefarious as they are, to continue unabated. So far those are the actions taken, but the final one is a reassurance, again, that we are determined to protect the party constitution. This is a message to the Honorable Nandala, a message to Honorable Patrick Oboy Amuriat, a message to all their accomplices. This party constitution is sacrosanct, is sacred. we can't allow you to desecrate it with impunity. That is not going to happen. And it's our duty and obligation. It is this instrument that ties us, actually that binds us together. It is this instrument here. It is the one that guides all of us as leaders. So we are determined to guard it jealously, exploring all available options within the parameters or the confines of the law to deal with the same. The very final one, confronting the Museveni family rule. Once all the logistical and administrative measures are in place, we'll embark on the general mobilization, recruitment, and registration of members. Because right now we are dealing with the logistical issues, housekeeping matters to get settled as the new leadership. But once we are done with that, we shall be hitting the road, do mass mobilization, recruitment, and also advancement of the struggle. We shall adopt a multi-pronged approach to this. We'll be holding town hall meetings and also address rallies countrywide.
One Uganda, one people.
So in the coming days, we shall be letting you know, members of the public, how this program will roll out. It's going to be discussed at NEC meeting on Thursday, and soon thereafter, we shall be letting you know. Thereafter, police will also be notified as required under the relevant laws. During these meetings, especially public rallies, we will rally the masses against the junta that has effectively established a family rule in Uganda. People occupying all sorts of offices these days act for and on behalf of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. We don't need to repeat this. It's well known to you that actually every office here, people holding office at the altar of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and we have to deal with that decisively. It is either Museveni, his wife, his son Muhoozi, his brother General Salim Saleh and the others. It's just a business affair, and his in-laws, even those who have married from the family, they are all wielding too much powers as against the bona fide citizenry who are the owners of the country. Just as an example, when you see the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robin Nabanja, sneak into UN Assembly, where the government is already heavily represented by a 51-member delegation headed by the Vice President, Major Jessica Rupo, it's just a manifestation of the crisis we are talking about. You have a delegation represented, no, you have a delegation headed by the Deputy President or Vice President representing the country. All of a sudden, the hosts are astonished, they are surprised, they are shocked to see again another group storming the meeting. Robin Nabanja majestically marching into the room with another delegation, a very big one. What an embarrassment. What an embarrassment. Can you imagine? Now, a big delegation of over 70, they are all there, representing one country, a very poor country, whose GDP is nowhere close to Dangote's wealth. Very, very absurd. We intend to speak to all our colleagues who are fighting for freedom in either to work together or harmonize our operations. We will reach out to our brothers in DP and UPC whose political parties have been taken over by the junta, because right now we need to develop that network and rescue our institutions together collectively. So our brothers in DP, the Rurube Bayigas, our brothers in UPC, Peter Warubiri, please, let's work out a mechanism, weave out a mechanism of rescuing our institutions. But in the broader struggle, we shall also reach out to other political institutions and formations our brothers in Inup, our brothers and sisters in Anti, CP, JEMA, and other political formations. We also intend to have conversations with the members of the civil society, religious leaders, and all other stakeholders in this country for purposes of liberating our country, which is under captivity, for God and my country.
Just to add that we are not only sending notice to the banks, but also warning the public and our supporters against working with the suspended leaders. Don't work with them because they are not in offices anymore. Because they were doing fundraising, they were collecting money from our supporters. You know, so don't deal with them. You deal with them at your own risk. And again, to add that we have since taken office, and we are going to serve diligently in the interest of Ugandans, so that we are seen different from the goons. Ugandans know who is genuine and who is not genuine. I want to thank you and wish you a good day.
We continue to condemn the brutality and the excessive force which was exercised on our delegates on 19th at Busabala and here at Kastonga. You saw many of our delegates were battered, beaten, injured, but also tear gassed. We tasked Uganda Police, and this was done under the supervision of Uganda Police. We tasked Uganda Police to bring to book the culprits, and we also want to see them charged in courts of laws. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I don't have very much things to say today, maybe on Thursday, but most importantly, I would like to thank once again our delegates who came from all over the country to be here with us. I want to assure the delegates that were elected long time ago, in fact those who elected us, to tell you, you are still delegates for another 6 months. So, continue to do your work. Do not be intimidated by the so-called elected new leaders, because they do not have the authority, and I have never given them the authority to be the delegates of FDC. This I assure you. Continue to do your work. As you have already heard from our acting president, we shall be coming to you very soon to start the major work of electing from the grassroots those who really need or wish to become members of the leadership of FDC. Secondly, I want to say to those who are continuing to violate our constitution that you may go ahead and do whatever you do, but that's null and void. I've never, not even asked any of my acting, and not even acting, but my vice chairs to sign for the delegate conference. So if you have any letters related to that also, it's null and void. Lastly, I want to let you know that FDC is in the hearts of the members of FDC. It is not at Najanankumbi. Najanankumbi is just a building. You understand? So, here is where the soul and the Holy Spirit of FDC exists. So, anywhere we are, and we carry on and respect the constitution of FDC, which I've fought so hard to uphold, risking my life to make sure that the delegates have their say. And as you remember, We achieved it. They came, they saw, they did what they had to do, they went, and they are so happy from what I've been hearing on telephone calls. So, we preserved FDC by preserving its constitution, and we shall carry on for those who love this party. Thank you so very much.